to show you a little bit about how I, as a professional jeweler, of course, do the untangling when you get a big mess of chains like this. So there's, I think, 4 or 5 necklaces in here, varying kinds. One's a rope chain. Most of them are Rolo chain. Some are thicker Rolo chains than others. This is a common experience even for those of us professionally in jewelry who try to keep all of our stuff in plastic baggies and separated. So anyway, I give myself a little bit of an advantage today in that one chain is gold. This one's 14 karat. A couple of the chains are oxidized. One chain for sure is not oxidized. 2 of them are plain chains, and I think 3 of them have pendants. So I'm also going to share with you one of the tools I really like to use. Obviously, these have been used a lot for my soldering station, but these are locking tweezers. So I find these really helpful at certain points because at some point I'm going to need to, say, hold a chain completely out and basically like not let it get tangled back up in all of this. The other thing I like, I have these diamond tweezers. They also have a locking mechanism on them, so I can use 2 different tools at the same time. You know, if I tease one piece of chain out and I want to like hold it aside and not let it get messed up again, I'll have these and I'll have these. If you don't have access to those, you can also use an alligator clip if you have that. I happen to have these. It's like some old sign stand, so I might bring these on as well. You know, I'm going to give myself my best advantage here to start. So I'm actually going to start by teasing out the gold chain. And it's funny, I don't know how much I actually think as I'm going through this. I just kind of like follow the path that the gold chain is taking. And of course, it's going to hit a little hiccup here. So I'm just going to gently pry those silver chains off and around. And there it goes. And I'm not too worried about this retangling them because one of the things I've experienced is that once you loosen one chain, there's one chain, that's our 14 karat one. I'm going to set that aside over there. Not too worried about that getting tangled up in and of itself. That's harder to happen. But once you tease out one, I find that it sometimes loosens up the tangle with all of these others. So what I'm going to try to do is, okay, so this one's not a Rolo chain. I think this was a curb chain. So that's going to be another one where I'll be able to follow the chain through this tangle more easily by basically looking for a pattern. Now, this one also has its own knot. Your choice, but I sometimes like to go ahead and undo the knot just because it'll make it easier to pull through the piece later. Oh, whoop, there it got caught on this other clasp. Clasps, by the way, especially these hook clasps that I was known to make back in my day. These hook clasps are going to be a little bit of an enemy because they will get re-caught on things. So where was I? Getting this tangle out. And it looks like this last part was really just a twist. So I'm going to pull this out. It's almost free. And now this necklace is free. I'm also going to set it aside. Again, I'm less worried. Once the necklaces are free, I'm less worried about them tangling. So if I put them into a pile, it's probably okay. Then I'm going to follow this one. This is the bright silver one. So I'm going to... just going to follow the path through. So the nice thing is that you can start to see where the oxidized chain goes around it. And it kind of looks like a mess, but I'm just going to like kind of gently pull it apart. You know, I find that when it's clumped together, kind of like it is down here where my thumb is, that can be a little bit harder to see. So sometimes if I pull it out just a little bit, I can see where the tangles go through. So I can see that this is actually just gently looped around that one. That looks like it's on the other end. So the other thing I've noted, your mileage might vary, but I have found frequently that undoing the clasps makes it a lot easier to untangle chains. So I am going to pull this through, and I'm going to pull this through. And again, since I have this like nice long tail, this is actually when I would bring in one of my locking tweezers and just hold it aside. That way it doesn't get re-tangled up into this pile, and I can keep that set aside and I can keep following the path. And actually what's cool is that right now, I don't know if you can tell, but it looks like actually a lot of the oxidized chain is just draped over this. And so what I need to do, actually, so this is a fun thing about untangling chains. Your brain will be following one path and it'll suddenly see another. And the thing about untangling chains is that it is perfectly fine to go down that other path if you think it will work. There's no need to be totally single-minded. So I can see this. So I know, of course, because this is bright silver, that this is going to be one end of this chain. And it really is just a matter right now of looping underneath. That one's going through the pendant, so I'll drop it through gently to keep it separate. And then when it gets to this point that I can see that stuff is sort of just like loosely draped over, I'm really just worried about, not even worried, I'm just following it, just kind of pulling it through, undraping some of this other chain. It actually looks like, okay, so what it looks like right now, and let me lay this flat here so you can see. Really just looks like a lot of these chains are kind of draped over it. So I'm gonna actually just undrape them. It'll actually make it easier for me to get this through here. And I'm gonna pull it through gently, gently. There's chain number 3. So I'm gonna release this from the locking tweezers, from the diamond tweezers, and put that over there. One hint is that if you do have a pair of these diamond tweezers, or even any like, I don't know, like a standard pair of like beauty tweezers or eyebrow tweezers that are sharp enough, sometimes if the knots are really tight and tiny and you can't quite get them undone, having something like this is really great for being able to pull at the chain itself. I don't think we have any knots like that today. And in fact, okay, before I say anything, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to jinx myself here, because I think that this is almost out. And it is. And ta-da, we have 5 chains. This one didn't have any pendants on it. This one didn't have any pendants on it. This one had 1. And this one had 1. Probably not the gnarliest tangling I've ever undone, but it's still a pretty good one to demonstrate my thought process throughout. So let me know if you have any questions.